Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software, such as AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon, so be sure to text us "Need Software" to 323-405-1341. That's 323-405-1341. We aim to please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal buyer's protection guarantee.
First, let's say welcome home to the God. Okay, I know you've been home for a little bit now, but you know, let's just publicly say it. For those that didn't know, you was down for how long?
Oh man, this last one I was sentenced to 7 to 14 years in New York State prison for reckless manslaughter and criminal possession of a firearm with some controlled substances with manufacturing distribution. A bunch of
Right.
a bunch of negatively destroying stuff. You know what
And
I'm saying?
how much time did you do, go?
I did 6 years, and then I made my parole board. Yeah, so I'm currently still on parole, New York State parole currently.
Okay, well, welcome home, God. Glad to have you home. Miss Ravioli, peace. What's good? We see you. So yeah, man, you have a long storied career in this game, man. You know what I mean? You just have and just an interesting life story. I've been checking you out on IG lately, and I see you talking about the Shyheim Franklin story coming soon.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about the Shyheim Franklin story and what is the Shyheim Franklin story? Let's get into it.
The Shyheim Franklin story is a documentary that's being directed and filmed by Gully TV. And
Shout out Jamil.
yeah, me and the God, we've been building and he was just like, yo, anybody ever do it? And I'm like, nah. And he was like, yo, can I do it? I'm like, yeah. And it's just like, yo, it's done. You know what I mean? And and after watching his work, I feel he's pulling it off because he knows what the people want to see and hear. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be a very good picture for him.
Right. So tell us a little bit about, about your life, man, about how you came up, where you came up,
All right.
circumstances, just all of that.
Well, everything has parables, as we all know, right? So I was this kid, you know what I'm saying, from the beginning of Staten Island history. My mom and them is from Stapleton, my pops and them is from Park Hill. So if you understand the history of Wu-Tang, you understand that already, right? So I was the
Right.
child birthed from two neighborhoods that was taboo to deal with each other, right? And that's me,
Mm.
right? My mother had me at 16 years old. At the time, my father was incarcerated on Rikers Island and went on to do a prison sentence when I was born. Um, so I was raised by my mother, of course, with my grandparents. But after they died, it was just me and my mom's. And then she got hooked on drugs, and then I became a rapper. I mean, I always enjoyed rhyming because it was like a way that I could express the things that was happening in my life with my family, and people cheered for it. You know, it wasn't like back then. You remember snapping, and somebody could make you cry by saying, "Yo, your mother's a crackhead." But when I started to say my mother was a crackhead or used drugs or my aunt died from AIDS and all these things that was happening in my life while my career was happening, and at the same time, it made it hard to even enjoy celebrity. You know what I mean? Because real life was happening. And
Mm.
all this time, you know, I was like, yo, it's to be a rapper. But now when I look back, I think music and entertainment just made me comfortable to being able to speak in front of large masses of crowds. And I think the story, my story is the way to help people. You know what I mean? So when I came home, I started the rugged road to recovery as my 5-year plan. So this is what you see, all the aspects of me trying to better my life, whether it's mentally, physically, my business, you know, my dental work, you know what I mean? Just all of my relationships, just everything that I'm in recovery of trying to make better in my life. And hopefully I can help someone else while I'm doing that as well.
Nah, that's peace, God. That's peace. So I see you ISO 360. What is that?
Okay, so how ISO 360 is just a short term for isometric concepts. Now, isometric, as we know, there's different meanings from it. So one meaning is one projection that has three different angles of that same projection. So you could take me, right? I'm Shyheim Franklin, but I'm also a rapper and an actor of the same dimension, right? You know what I mean? So when you have an isometric drawing, they're separated by 90-degree angles and 120 degrees, so it all comes together as a 360. And it's also when resistance, if you push against resistance, actually make you stronger. So I felt that me pushing my way back into this industry, it was going to be an uphill battle, but it would make me stronger. You know what I mean? And that's where isometric came from. And then I was just like, I didn't want to be boxed into one thing. So because I rap, I act, you know what I'm saying? I know how to do search engine optimism. I write, you know what I mean? So I was like, yo, I'm into just so many different things now in my life that, and I'm just like, I didn't want to be boxed in. So I said, yo, concept. So I get to do anything I want to do. You know what I'm saying? Under the banner of a concept.
How'd you I like to ask people when did you when was you first exposed to hip hop and when did you transition from being a fan to a participant?
I was exposed to hip hop early on, right? Because I mean, I was just fortunate to have older cousins that was tagging up and going to the city and the Bronx. And my uncle, he was from the Bronx, and he used to tag up back in the days, like in Flash days. You know what I mean? So when they would come home, they would have the big Canyon radios and the Adidas and the fat laces, and I was just like, yo, that's what I wanted to do. So when they was out, I was
And how
putting my
old are
little
you at this time?
man, I was about, I want to say 6 years old. You know what I
Right,
mean?
like
I was 6 years old putting my
yeah.
feet in my big cousin Adidas, like, you know what I mean? And back then, them days, people was get killed for stepping on somebody's sneakers, right? And here it is, my little 6-year-old self is wearing my older big cousin's Adidas shell toes outside and breaking and popping tapes and recording over things, like, you know what I mean? Those was the best days. And then what happened was, now this is when we was pretty much like, I don't want to say nobody's, because we wasn't in the business at all. I wasn't nowhere even thinking about being in the business, and I was probably in the second grade, and I had a friend in the second grade. His name was Ward, and Ward had a famous brother by the name Milk D, and Ward would come to
Mm.
school with stickers and everything, and come to find out, then I was able to meet Milk, and then I knew DJ K Rock used to live on Staten Island. They used to come to a store called Mike Deli, and I used to live across the street from Mike Deli. So I'll be sitting on the stoop watching K Rock come up in his Jetta MC Light, and that was the first time I seen like real rappers, and I was like, "Yo, that's
Oh.
dope." Then now it transitioned into my friend who was also in school with me, Ninth Prince. Now Ninth Prince is RZA's little brother. You know what I'm saying? So we all in second grade, and that's how I started going over to RZA house as a little kid, and then RNS, he lived in my cousin's project building. You know what I mean? So when my grandmother died, and we moved from that house, and we moved into Stapleton Projects, because I was always from there from my family, but I lived with my grandma. But when she died, we moved in in the projects with my aunt, and R&S lived on the first floor. But they still wasn't jacking me like, yo, put him in the studio, right? That wasn't the thing, you know what I mean? I was rhyming. There was only a few of us then my age back then. Me, Ninth Prince, Don Pacino, Killer Sin, King Just, and a couple of dudes our age bracket, you know what I mean? That was rhyming. And so I had met Mercury from the Force of Beast through my mom's because she was whatever, right? They was around the same age, and she told, and I rhymed for Mercury, and that was it. Mercury started to let me open up for artists that would come to Staten Island, you know what I mean? And then I had got a manager. I got a manager by Victor James. He was my first manager, right? You know what I'm saying? But after performing shows with Mercury, opened up for Naughty, King Son. I met Chuck Chill Out. It's dope when I see these people, right? Because they remember when I was like, aspiring artists and opening up for those acts. You know what I'm saying? I'll give that to Mercury. But once that happened, I started to become known on Staten Island for rhyming, not just for basketball. I played basketball, and I was the kid that packed bags at Pathmark. You know what I mean? Collected bottles and threw ninja stars, and so everybody knew me already, the rugged child. But then once I started to rhyme and got known for that, through Mercury, R&S and Rakim started to let me do demos. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
So and then I got a record deal.
Right. So basically, I feel like you got sucked into the vortex of like that Wu-Tang vortex. Like at some point, they were able to like see that they could tap into so many, like especially RZA seemed like he was able to see, I could tap into all these record companies.
Well, no. That's not actual fact, Lord.
Okay, tell me.
That didn't happen for my story. I actually had a record deal before Wu-Tang. I was a minor, so I had to go through Supreme Court to actually put a record out. So during that process, I'm in court. Now, mind you, I'm already 6 figures up with a record deal on Virgin. Wu-Tang Clan comes.
Wait, so you got a record deal without being affiliated with Wu-Tang?
Yeah. No, not at all. I didn't have a record deal through the Wu-Tang. No, not
See,
at all.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Not at all. I mean, not saying that RZA's my big brother.
We love RZA.
R&S, they helped cultivate me, you know what I'm saying? But Wu-Tang Records, Wu-Tang Productions did not construct or get Shyheim a record deal. That deal came through R&S Production, R&S who produced the UMCs and Guy Wu-Tay. He was in a group called Aftershock that was on Virgin at the time, and Big Wigs. That's how I got signed. But RZA produced on the album.
Okay.
And then the Clan came and blew. That's why a lot of the things it's like, yo, I'm Wu-Tang, but I didn't fall into a lot of the issues sometimes because I didn't have contractual business with them. I was just a little bro, and they always just, I always had my own deal. I did my own deal through television and everything like that. I didn't work with Wu-Tang like hands on to my third album, Man Child. And that's when I did the deal with Wu-Tang Records.
Okay. So at that point, that's when you are like official
Wu-Tang Records.
But before that,
I was always Wu-Tang, but just
right, because you Staten Island, you Shaolin, you from around the way and all of that type of shit. But you had got a record deal on your own. But then when the Wu-Tang shit blew up, you kind of benefited from.
Would you say? No, I mean, I would say that I benefited from us all collectively. We all collectively,
right, from that Staten Island. What was going on in Staten Island at that time? I feel like there was a nice light shined on Staten Island at that moment, and you helped benefit from that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, definitely,
you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, hell yeah. We all benefited. You know what I mean? But again, it's like. It's just a little hammer that kept happening to hit, right? And when Wu-Tang came, it was enough to break down the wall. because we was making attempts to get in the game for years, man, with the Force MDs to make Staten Island known, with the UMCs to make Staten Island known, with King Just. Now you remember King Just was the first artist to perform at Summer Jam. You know what I'm saying? So and then myself and the clan, and then after us Mac Wiles, and you got so man, CJ's from Staten Island too, the kid with Wu-Tang and all
Oh,
that.
right.
So yeah, you know what I mean. We got a little history. We making little moves. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen,
Well,
Force MCs used to be one of my favorite
come on,
fucking groups
Doctor Rock,
back in the days.
Dr. Rock. Word.
See, I had I had met Lord K. Warren from Pooh Bah like way back in the day. I'm talking like 87, some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, but this was up in the Bronx. He was up in the Bronx and shit. And we riding around, and I'm like, damn, I'm riding around with Lord K1. Like, I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this some hip-hop shit. And I used to know all their routines, fucking
Yeah. That's that.
man.
That's how. That's how. That's so That's how I felt like when I had the opportunity to hang out with Big Daddy Kane. When Kane grabbed me up, you know what I mean, and bring me with him, and it was just like, yo, just to soak up the information and to really be with someone that. See, back then when you guys and y'all, right? Because I was young when y'all. Right, and it's just like that's when it was real rappers, and I said, yo, this sucks to be like now, like because when y'all, it was like y'all was bigger than life, man. You got to see y'all really setting the stage and knocking down barriers for people like myself to come through after. You know what I mean? I'm forever grateful for that, man. Peace, Lord. Word.